Alright, so I'm on my way back to Los Angeles. Just wanted to do this video because there's just been an outpouring of support and questions, and it would take me probably a couple hours to answer every single text and message through YouTube and Instagram. I have several accounts, so this is just a way for me to do this easier for me. My mom's okay. I mean, she's still not out of the woods. She is, the ventilator's still hooked up, but she's at a point now where they can turn the ventilator off and she can breathe on her own. So the fluid that was in her lungs is a lot less. You know, her numbers are getting incrementally better, but it's up and down a little bit. But she's a lot better now than she was when I first got here. And I drove here. I've been here for 5 days in Arizona, Scottsdale. And I came out because the first nurse I spoke with made it sound really bad, you know, and I asked her, well, how bad is it? Does she have a chance? Whatever. She says, you should come out. So I did. It's my mother. I'm going to come out there. So, and I will say that when I first saw her, she's in a, for you that don't know, she's in a COVID ICU unit. And when I first got there and saw her the first time, it was not good. I mean, it was I wouldn't wish that on anybody. All the tubes and everything else. She had the like pussy eyes, and one eyeball was rolled back up in her head. The other one was kind of droopy and whatnot. And I went in the room and her eyes were closed. And I was told that at that point that she wasn't very responsive, and you know, if I went in there not to expect anything or that she would understand me or anything like that. And I went in, I grabbed her hand and I said, Mom, it's Michael. And she opened her eyes and looked at me, and her body shook and jolted like she was hit with a bolt of electricity. And she was so excited to see me. And she squeezed my hand really hard, and she was fluttering her legs. And it was everything that they told me she wasn't able to do, which was odd to me, but okay. And, you know, she's trying to say, I love you, with the tubes in her mouth and everything. And it was rough, man. Those of you that know me know I don't get emotional. I don't lose my shit. I can keep it together. So, and that's what I did. And so, you know, I told her I loved her. I talked her through everything, and, you know, explained to her I couldn't stay long and I'd be back tomorrow. And I went back every day. And the second day, a little backstory so that you understand. She just got through throat cancer. She was just given a clean bill of health on cancer a couple weeks ago. And I talked to her on the phone a few days before this incident happened. She was in the hospital at that point. She had gone home. She had a fall. She went to the hospital. And when she was in the hospital for the fall, they said that she was testing positive for COVID. So when I was talking to her, she seemed fine to me, and she had a little bit of a cough. And I said, Mom, how did you get COVID? Who were you around? She said she hadn't been around anybody, but she was lying to me. She had gone out on a Saturday, and the Saturday prior to this happening, with her friends. She went out for this monthly meeting, first Saturday of the month. As it turns out, we found out later, when she went into the hospital this time, that one of the people that went to the meeting had COVID and had passed it along to now at least 3 people. So, I mean, that's the thing about COVID, man. It's your friends that can kill you. How friggin' crazy is that? And, you know, putting COVID aside for a moment, I don't care what your issue is, whether it's COVID or not. If you don't feel good, you got the sniffles or something, stay home. If we've learned anything from this incident, if you're not feeling good, stay home. Before COVID ever existed, if I didn't feel good, if I was under the weather, I stayed home. Anyhow, I digress, as per usual. Oh, I'm going to digress some more because I'm going to blow off some steam in a minute here too. So they sent her home. She got home with COVID. Keep in mind, she got home. She had another fall, had a heart attack. Fortunately, my niece was home at the time with her, with other people, and none of them have COVID, by the way. And she had a heart attack, and her heart stopped, and they had to resuscitate her. And because of the COVID, where she was at down in Sierra Vista, they flew her to Scottsdale, which is where she is now. And that's when I got the call and everything else. So that's the story. So, I mean, she has been through the ringer, man. The ringer. I mean, she has been in and out of the hospital. She's had hip issues, knee replacements, you name it. She's gone through it all in the last few years. It's terrible. Eat right, reduce your stress levels, get plenty of exercise, stop drinking soda, don't smoke cigarettes. I mean, do what you're supposed to do for your health so you don't end up like this. Because the thing about COVID is, it's not the COVID, it's the comorbidities. It's the other crap that's wrong with you that puts you in that situation. You heard me? Anyhow. So every time I went in there, she got better. The second day I went in there, she was a lot better. I mean, both her eyes were at least in the same place. Her color was better. Her legs were revealed. I could see them. Communicating with her, talking with her. I mean, I asked her straight up if she wanted to go. She's like, oh no. I mean, she's a fighter. I said to her, I said, well, Mom, your new nickname is the cockroach because you survive everything. She's going to be around forever. My close friends know I make these jokes because I'd like to do, I kind of have a fantasy one day of doing a little comedy, you know. But I don't want to do it while she's still kicking because I have to talk about my childhood and it wasn't great and it ain't going to paint a pretty light around her. And I really would prefer not to hurt her feelings, you know. And I've told her this. You know? She kind of rolls her eyes. And I use humor a lot in these bad situations. And I was doing with her, and, you know, and she doesn't always appreciate it. You could see the eyebrow raise, like, all right, yeah, you're going to give me that crap again? But that's good. That's our natural banter. And it was all there. Her brain is there 100%. I spoke with the doctor at length. He took me in a separate room for a while. It was like the second or third day I was there to see her. And they explained that, you know, her brain could be one thing, but it has nothing to do with the body. You know, the organs are what the issue is. Her lungs aren't working at full capacity anywhere near. They weren't working at all for a long portion of this. Heart has some issues because of the heart attack. Kidney issues, all of it. None of it is good. But every day I was in there, incrementally better in my eyes that I could see. Her communication issues. Now, the other day and yesterday, or today, and whatever, I couldn't see her. She was out of it. I tried to call. They messed it up. They over-medicated her to the point where she was sleeping. So I couldn't communicate with her. I went in there today to see her, and my brother and my sister-in-law are on their way down from Williams. And this brings up another issue I want to get into that is separate from my mother's health and the COVID thing. And it's this. Because my brother will do this thing, and I love my brother, don't get me wrong. But he has this tendency to imagine worst case scenario and then go off on emotional rants. Oh, this, and you can't, and I don't have time for this shit. So because I'm non-emotional, I have a bad habit of just saying, hey, shut up, stop talking. You know, I just want to, and in this case, he was imagining the worst. We're going to turn around if we both can't see her, but what he didn't know is, I spoke to the nurse after that they talked to her. I understood what the situation was. I had already solved the problem. I was already suited up to go in to see her. I spoke to the nurse before I went in, and I chose not to go in to see her so that my brother and his sister, or his wife, could go in and see her at the same time. But I had to get into this silly nonsense with my brother first, and then I just stopped talking, and there was a long pause, and I'm like, are you done? Yeah. All right. I already solved the problem, motherfucker. I'm sorry. I already solved the problem. I'm not going in to see her. You guys both, when you get there, you'll both be able to go in and see her. Problem solved. Which brings up another point I've been dealing with lately, which really bums me out. And it's men emotionally reacting like, in my mind, in my eyes, like women. This is no knock to women. I expect it from women. At this stage of my life, at my age, I'm perfectly okay with women flipping out. Emotional shit, imagining a scenario in your mind and reacting to a total fabrication in your mind and taking it out on everybody else around you. I get it. Fine, I will just shut down, let you blow off your steam, and when things calm down, I'll set you straight. I'll use a little humor, I'll make you laugh, everything will be fine. But I do not have the patience when it comes to dudes, in particular, veterans, in particular, like combat veterans, in particular, veterans, combat veterans, dudes that I know personally, that know me, that have known me for long periods of time. Knock it off. I'm not putting up with it, man. I'm not putting up with it. If I do or say something or post something that you don't agree with, it's okay. I guarantee you there's things you've said and done that I don't agree with, but you never hear me give you crap about it. I just let it go. Well, that's so-and-so. That's just how so-and-so is. I understand so-and-so. So-and-so's been married this long. So-and-so's got daughters. So-and-so works with women all the time. So-and-so eats a lot of soy. So-and-so's not eating enough beef. So-and-so's not throwing enough weights around. So-and-so's testosterone level's a little down. I get it, man. I'm not going to argue with you about it. I don't want to argue with anybody about anything ever, period. And in particular, I especially don't want to get into emotional nonsense with you. All right? I can be emotional, and I'm empathetic and all of that. But at the same time, I don't make my decisions based upon how I'm feeling emotionally at any given moment in time. That is ridiculous, crazy. You cannot make important, intelligent decisions if you're angry or upset in any way. So, now you know. If you didn't know already, now you know. So once again, thank you so much to everybody who reached out, took the time. I mean, the text messages and the phone calls. Oh my God. I'm hearing from people. You know who I hear from a lot who really reach out to me, especially with the calls, have been former girlfriends of mine. And I'm talking that go back decades. I was just staying for 5 days at an old girlfriend's house of mine. We went out 30 years ago. And it was a really nice time. Hung out with her kids the whole time and met the guy she's going out with. That was awesome. And so quite a few of you have called me, and thank you so much. I love you all. If I loved you in the past, I still love you now. I only focus on the positive memories. If I'm going to give any more lessons, that's a really good one for you. Time does kind of heal everything. Puts things in a better perspective and allows you to understand things. It allows you the time to maybe put yourself in their shoes and smooths everything over. So have a great day. Be kind. Be good to one another. And I'll catch you next time. And again, thank you so much. I told my mom that I put this out there publicly and that there was hundreds of people wishing her well and were aware of her situation. And so I think that really helped. I really do. I think the positive thoughts helped. I think that somebody being sick in bed hearing that hundreds of perfect strangers were there, like, wishing her well and saying prayers, I truly believe that's helping. Now look, let's not get too excited. You can still kick off like that. So we don't know, but I'm not made of money. I have no choice. I have to go back to LA right now and generate some income just to cover the gas that we're being forced to pay right now. Let's go, Brandon. So this is, it's ridiculous. Anyhow, once again, be good to one another, be kind, and I'll catch you in the next one.